interested people end up in this town, you know? Where do we want to go now?
Go to the right-hand lane, kid.
Hi, I'm Larry Harmon, and what we're doing is a tour of all the derelict landmarks in Hollywood that are condemned and torn down or destroyed. This is the former Hollywood Library, and it burned down a while ago, and there's been no money to rebuild it. This is all that's left of it. They don't have enough dough to put up a decent library. That's kind of typical of the schlock culture that permeates this town. But actually, what we're going to be looking at is what has happened in the last 30 or 40 years to Hollywood. At one time it was a posh movie capital, and now it's just this total sewer. And so we're gonna walk around a little bit and look at these various landmarks, and we're gonna kind of see what happened, because I'm kind of curious. I don't know, what a sewer, yeah. This is the site of Schwab's drugstore, where Lana Turner was supposed to have been discovered. The story is untrue. She was actually discovered in a drugstore across the street from Hollywood High. But the myth about Lana Turner being discovered here in kind of typical Hollywood fashion is really more important than whether or not she was, because it definitely helped business for Schwab's. It became an actor's hangout, and unemployed actors would hang out and drink malted milks and collect their unemployment checks and bullshit about what upcoming jobs they had. It's now being turned into a private club for affluent, upscale West Siders, kind of an indication of what tragedies lie in store for Hollywood as it becomes Westwood East. Welcome to the Gulag. Well, I don't think we can scam a loading zone parking spot from the Heartbreak Theater here. We're in Selma. This is one of the stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and it's pretty derelict. It's actually pretty condemned. Belonging to one Akim Tamaroff. I don't know who the heck this guy is. There are lots of real minor stars who got stars on the Walk of Fame because a new one is dedicated the third Wednesday of every month. And the Chamber of Commerce goes out and drops one of these babies in the sidewalk, and they must run out of people to honor in this way, because we're talking real minor stars. Actually, a lot of the stars are more condemned than their little monuments on the Walk of Fame. For example, Gene Vincent's star is about a block up Vine Street, and that was like one of the proudest moments of Gene Vincent's career was when he got a star in front of the Palace Theater on Vine Street. And he talked about it for years and years afterwards. And as it happened, Gene Vincent himself died in Newhall, California in 1971 from a bleeding ulcer caused by alcoholism. But his star is still in front of the Palace Theater to this day. Gold Star Recording Studio. This is in the 60s. This is where Phil Spector recorded all the famous girl groups like the Ronettes and the Chiffons and the Crystals and all these guys. And Sonny and Cher also. And a while back, it was condemned because it's an earthquake hazard, and mysteriously about 2 weeks later, it just sort of burned down, and it smells real fishy to me. It smells like an insurance fraud, and it's probably the reason why I pay so much insurance, because I live 2 blocks over that way. I pay like almost $700 a year. I get so upset.
I come thinking how you get Chinese together. Gong Hai, Leong, Leong. Which way? Chinese theater.
Oh, Chinese theater, it's go that way.
Oh.
To your whatever.
So the theater down the street, say a block or two? Or?
Yeah, well, it's about a block or two to the left there, yeah.
Yakshimas? Yeah, I come from Poland. Polish underground. Poland. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good place to come from.
Yakshimas? Yeah, I'm the brother to the Pope Paul. Pope Paul. I'm the right hand. He's the left hand. Next war, I'm at peace.
Time for a tab break at the graveyard of Hotel Hell on Hollywood Boulevard. Originally called the Garden Court Apartments, these apartments are kind of interesting because they trace the development of Hollywood's dereliction through about 30 or 40 years. The building was built in the 20s, and in the 20s and 30s, it was the home for the opulent life of Hollywood at its height. As Hollywood declined and became more decayed through the years, that life declined and decayed too. And on into the 40s and 50s, the Garden Court Apartments became the place where aspiring young starlets, fresh in town, would camp out in hopes of finding a break and making it big. On into the 60s and 70s, it gradually became more and more of a dump and a flop house, and eventually became a home for teenage punk rock junkies, which was really its lowest point. After a couple of fires, it was decided to just tear it down because it was just too derelict. And as it is now, it's in the process of demolition. I think it's pretty appropriate to be in Hollywood in 1984 because Hollywood is really a very natural home for the big lie. Generations of people have been attracted to here looking for either glamour or freedom or money or something like that. And I think where most of them end up is places like Hotel Hell. And it's closed right now. It's being restored. And in the 50s, you know who lived here? William Frawley lived here. You know Fred Mertz and the I Love Lucy show? He lived here in the 50s. And like all the time they were filming the I Love Lucy show, Fred Mertz was in this very hotel. Yeah, I always thought Fred Mertz was real cool. He had those pants that came up to about here. When I get old and fat, I'm going to look like Fred Mertz with those kind of pants. It's so cool. Anyway, so this is the resident hotel, and this is where we live, and they're just restoring it now. I'm happy to see that they're restoring some landmarks. You know, it's pretty cool. 7,000. Isn't that cool? I'd like to steal that. Tab rate at Tiny Nailers. You used to be able to have a car hop come here and serve you your tab, but now it's strictly self-service from the liquor store. Because Tiny Nailers is no more. What's going to go in here is a massive office and shopping complex, similar to just about anything you would find in Tucson or Houston or Duluth, Minnesota. LA in the 50s was a modernist city. The California coffee shop architectural style was one of the clearest expressions of this tendency. It was also one of the very few moments in modern architecture where modernist ideas and motifs were widely accepted by large numbers of the general public. Just the style's acceptance in a highly volatile, competitive venture like a coffee shop testifies to the fact that it really was a very, very popular style, which is unique in modern architecture. Serious architectural critics looked upon LA modernist motifs such as the boomerang, the kidney, the atomic starburst as kind of gimmicky and kitschy and hodgepodgey. But that doesn't negate the fact that it was one of the very few times where the ideas and tendencies of European elitist architects, modernist architects, were really widely accepted. In the 50s, when Tiny Nailers was built, they had car hop service, and the car hops, when you pulled up, would come dashing out, and they kept their silverware in those little compartments, those little stainless steel compartments there. And this cutie female car hop would dash out to your car and bring you a menu and take your order and whisk you the food in mere seconds. It was the real height of Southern California auto culture, dining in your car.
I'm not talking to that camera.
Oh, okay, you're talking to me.
Damn the camera, you know?
Okay.
I'm talking to you.
Talk to me.
I am an ex-convict, you understand?
Yeah.
3-time loser, 31 years. Say, wait till I get finished here, Kenny, will you?
16 years.
I ate there when I got out of
You got me too?
Folsom Prison. When I got out of there, I ate for 10 years.
You got out of Folsom Prison and you ate at Tiny Mealers for 10 years?
I ate for 10 years in here.
Every day?
The finest food you ever
Yeah, they
saw.
got good food
right
here.
here.
Yeah.
The finest
No.
food you ever saw.
No?
Food wasn't good.
Wasn't good, huh?
No.
Blazing chicken?
Blazing chicken. See
Fuck
right
no.
here? Can you see? Can you read?
Panama chicken.
Blazing chicken. Here.
Wow.
So,
Killer.
I'm saying. But I'm saying one thing. Y'all can make money off sick people.
Yeah, how? And over here, if you can see the guy with the scimitar, that's a real prime example of Los Angeles pop schlock architecture. The Fred Flintstone, little Fred Flintstone motif at the door there is just like when Fred used to get locked out of his house by his cat and he'd hit the pound on the door going, Wilma! To let him in. And the cat would just jump right through the window. But Fred was less intelligent than the cat, so he couldn't quite figure that out. He had to get Wilma's help. Wow, look at this. Remember the story I told you about Gene Vincent? It was a lie. Well, not a total lie, but Gene Vincent didn't actually get his star in front of the Palace Theater, which is about half a block that way. He got it in front of a parking lot. You know, it's not quite as good, but it is across the street from Capitol Records. So that's tribute enough. Conclude our psychedelicized tour of Hollywood on a real cheery note at the Palace Theater. The Palace Theater was famous in the early 60s because this is where the Judy Garland show was filmed with the aid of massive doses of amphetamines on Judy Garland's part. And about 10 years ago, it was scheduled to be torn down. It was going to be condemned and torn down, but it was saved at the last minute. And now it's been renovated, and it's the home of a overpriced new wave scumorama, which is a training ground for people who in 5 years will be prime material for the Red Onion in Marina Del Rey. It's a breeding ground for future herpes victims. So with that, we'll conclude our story of condemned Hollywood films.
You go into the liquor store.
Yeah.
The bottles are ramen.
Yeah.
Oh! The Thunderbirds. Oh! Who gonna take me out of here?
The bottles are saying that.
The bottles are saying it.
Yeah.
Okay, right now,
Put
right
your
now.
hands up. No, this is
Yeah,
what I'm
the
saying.
bottles are saying, the bottles of Thunderbird are saying, take me, right? Or,
Yeah. You know, get him out of jail.
yeah.
We look at
That's Kenny, that's
Don't drop my
so-and-so.
straight razor
Hey,
out
man,
there, will you?
you put your own.
I
do
need
this,
that.
you know?